Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is Joanna Rogister. I am the Soul Alchemist, and this is Real Talk Soul Alchemy at Speak Up and Empower. Speak Up and Empower is an online community of heart-centered people that are focused on creating the world that they envision for themselves. As experts, you have your voice heard. You get to share your story and guide people just as you've been guided on your journey, or if you are searching for more, we bring together the experts that you need to help you on your journey. So Real Talk Soul Alchemy. Soul Alchemy is the journey of transforming your soul, of taking you on this journey of stepping into consciousness and becoming more aware of who you are, becoming more aware of what your soul purpose is, and then from there, what is preventing you from achieving that soul purpose. So I bring together people and share with you the tips and techniques to help you move through this amazing time in our universe and in this world right now, and to help you on your journey of transformation of alchemy. I have with me today Matthew Scott, and we're going to have just a great conversation, bringing a different perspective in, and he will join me and share his journey with us. Welcome, Matt.
Hello, hello.
How are you today?
Thank you for having me, Joanna. I'm very well, thank you. How are yourself?
I'm wonderful, thank you. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm a man of many things. I'm a house flipper, a real estate investor. I buy houses from distressed buyers or distressed homes that just need repairs, or they inherited a home, whatever the case may be. There's various situations where I buy them privately for cash. And then on top of that, I'm a mental health advocate and like to share my story with everyone. I've been through many journeys in my life and just wanted to let everyone know that you're not alone in any kind of situation that you're in.
Oh, perfect. I think that's, the journey of transformation is about that, is that we are never alone. There's always someone out there that will resonate with you, like whatever your journey is. So tell us kind of the highlights of what your journey has been.
Well, I was 400 pounds. I'm 240 now, so I pretty much dropped a human, 160 pounds. I lost my dad, my grandma, and like my aunt and uncle in a matter of like 6 months. So less like 7 relatives. Went through I've been through some PTSD, depression, throughout the years, just through the various jobs and I was on the road for like 7 years alone, traveling, and to me, it was like voices in my head, and like I just wanted to do so much more in my life, and I felt like I was always restricted. And I guess when I'm saying that, it's just like there was a lot of lead up to where I am today to get through mentally and physically and spiritually, and there's just so many different awakenings that happened during the process.
Well, and I think that's a beautiful part of it, right? When you allow that, because we all have, we've chosen to come here to have these adventures. And when we can actually learn from the adventures, which obviously you have, right? Then we can actually step through and become closer to achieving our soul purpose. So if you think about, I think you're a lot like me, that there's not these big epiphanies, but all of a sudden it's like you realize, wow, I'm so different from where I was before. What's one of the biggest things that's really brought you from that state of lack of awareness to a greater state of awareness?
What do you mean though? So what do you mean awareness?
Well, just awareness, consciousness, right? That so many people, you've had, the weight, right? The trauma from the grief, everything like that. Like a lot of times with people, they get stuck in that. So they get stuck in the weight, or woe is me, or victim, or they get stuck in, there's so many things that have happened, why me?
What comes to mind for me, and I was actually talking to Kim about this the other day. Hey, Kim. I'm pretty sure she's listening. Focus is what you focus on, because it's like, I did some work with you, and there was some trauma with my, the way my dad reacted when I was a kid, his expression of his actions of anger, and he was very OCD and picky, and I took offense to it, but he meant no harm. He meant love. Had his best intentions. Mm-hmm. And I held on to that for a long period of time. And it was not until I focused on that he was teaching, like now that I'm older, I see it's like a fine wine. We get older with it. We get better with age. I find I do anyways. Yeah. And you realize that it's not what it perceived to be as when I was growing up, or what I originally thought. Like he was just doing his best and teaching his morals and beliefs and values, and it was a hard lesson. But I mean, I'm standing here right now, like I think I don't regret it, and I love him for it. Like I'm just the person I am today, and the things that I've realized, and the thing, and who I am, and and as a like every which way is just, I'm so blessed to have those lessons, because what kind of hit me with that is not just when we did the work, is when I had one of my laborers, Mike. He came from a home. He lived with his dad, lived motel to motel. He had no responsibility, no way of cleaning up. He didn't know what growing up in a family was. And like I would complain about my dad, how hard he was, and we had to cut the grass 2-3 times a week. He would wake us up at 3 a.m. when it stopped snowing, because he didn't want anybody driving on the driveway and creating ice. Like he was very meticulous with everything, right? And he's like, I wish I had that. I wish I had my father that gave a shit, like, or cared. Like he's like, you should be blessed, man. I'm like, and then I kind of like it hit me, man. I should be blessed. Like this, I guess looking at the grass is never greener on the other side.
Yeah.
So it was just, that kind of comment took me back. And like, he just like, as much as I thought what I was focusing on was the negative, but it was the positives that I'm glad to have somebody to teach me those morals and beliefs.
Well, and that's such a huge journey, right? To move from that, just living with someone like your dad, to moving towards being that accepting of him and seeing him as that gift that he brought to you. Mm-hmm. So was it, would you say it was one thing, or was it just a series of events that brought you to this state? Because this is the biggest thing. Like, so many people want to move towards that, but it's challenging.
It was phases. Like I remember like holding on to it. I remember being like 24 or like 21 actually in Guelph when I lived there, and I remember talking to him over the phone, and just like I always felt like it was first like a sense of him holding me back. And I kind of told him, like, Dad, I was like, I know you have best intentions, but you always make me feel like I can't do things, and you're not allowing me to fail. I was like, no, you failed in your life, but you can't prevent me from failing. I want to learn my lesson. I'm not going to listen to everything that you say. Sometimes we have to learn the hard way, which is all, like, failure is an acronym for first attempt in learning. So it's like I craved the fail, like, and it just like he felt like, and it was a series of confrontations, telling him how I felt, expressing myself. You make me feel this way because you do this. Right. And it's just how I learned is how we present the information, and like we can get frustrated because it's built into us. It's like those are emotions for a reason. I've learned over the years, communication is telling a person like how you feel in the right way goes so much further than attacking them. And like, just,
well, that's just it, right? Coming from a place of strength and knowing that you deserve more is such a huge thing, right? Because then when we present information, it isn't, right? It's without those emotions. It's just, no, like I deserve this. And so here's what I need to share with you. But that's a big step for a lot of people.
It right? is. It's so like I would procrastinate though. I remember. Well, it would take me. It's not easier said than done. Now I can sit here in confidence. Like them, it's just like ripping off band-aids, man. Keep ripping them. It gets easier, right? So that was the start of it. I mean, I would sit there. I mean, my mom was here, she'd tell you a story of like it took me 3 days to get the courage to tell a guy that I didn't want to work with him anymore because of a certain situation. Like they were just to tell somebody how I felt and that like how they're making me feel. I didn't know how to express myself, and like it's the hardest thing. But it just you got to speak your truth. You got to know who you are and know what you believe in, and then you just keep telling yourself that, and it's in your approach, like calm, like just see it, like it just people react to your reaction, like it's just how you say it.
Yeah. So, do you have any suggestions for people that how to build their self-confidence, their self-esteem, to reach that point where they can come from a place of confidence?
For me, like it comes back to just like knowing who you are and what you believe in. Like if you believe that you don't deserve to be treated a certain way, then speak up. You say, you make me feel this way because you do this.
Right.
and or if things aren't going the way it's supposed to be going, and I think it all stems down from that. Like it's if it's in your belief system, of course you should speak up and do it. Like most of the time, I find we're so afraid of hurting the other person.
Yeah.
And like, you know, it's like that's cool. Like but those are like, how do we expect somebody to grow and learn and understand? Like there's so much things now that I talk to people about, and they're like, thank you. I did not know this. Like I'm like, sometimes we don't see the other mirror. Like we don't see behind the mirror. So
Well, and I think we create so many issues for ourselves by, as you said, not wanting to hurt the other person. But,
yeah.
and also, as you said, we think we're not going to hurt them by not telling them something. But so often in the long run, it hurts them even more because you've done it for so long. And now all of a sudden it's like, what
builds up tension. I find like they people can feel energies. Like you can feel like people can feel the tension, and it's like if you're thinking it, they're thinking it, and that's how and just if nobody says anything, it builds up, and then that's when it gets worse, when you don't say anything.
Well, and so often that feeling the tension is subconscious, but you stepped into a place where it is not so subconscious. You're more aware of it from that conscious level now. So how do you feel the tension?
I'm very, I don't know, I'm kind of intuitive myself. Like I can just sense it. Like it's just, I find it just comes to me. Like it hits me. Like it's ongoing thought, and it just pops in my head, and it's my intuition. And I'm really been learning to trust that. And it's not taught me wrong, because if it's a thought in my head, it gives me now when I feel those thoughts, or when something clicks for me, and I'm just like, I approach that person like, are you sure you're okay? Like, I mean, I just don't want you to, because we're creatures of habit. We only know what we know. So it was like, I spend a lot of time just trying to make sure the other person gets what I'm trying to communicate, because the reason why the sky is blue is we can come, like everyone, you'd ask 100 people, you probably get 98 different answers. Mm-hmm. So it's just like more or less clarifying and understanding where the other person is trying to come from. And it just,
and that's such a big thing, right? Because there were so many things there that you said, but it is such, intuition is just that connection between your conscious mind and your subconscious mind. Mm-hmm. And it can present itself in a variety of ways. As you said, that knowing, right, where a thought pops into your head and you just know something. Some people feel like a gut feeling, or something, hair on the back of their neck. But intuition is so huge in our lives, and it can make our lives so much simpler. Can you think of a time where you really recognized your intuition and followed through, and it changed things for you?
Yeah, this is since COVID started, really. I mean, it's kind of like more of an awakening for me, I'm going to call it. Mm-hmm. I've just noticed, like, I've been doing a lot of work with you, obviously, and it's bringing me to another level, and I'm like bringing down my desires and intuitions, and it's kind of just feel like it's been unraveling. And it's like, if I really put the work in and write it down and really just focus, it's focus on my goals and focus where I need to improve and focus. It's really about where you focus.
Yeah.
And I just learn to believe it and trust it. Like, it's like I have these desires and impressions and just all these thoughts, and it gets me excited. So I follow it. And then just like, I know this is going to be a little tough at the beginning, but then it's just like a bike. You get up and keep going, and you eventually rip off those training wheels, to me.
Yeah. So when you say focus, and I know what you mean, but I don't know if everyone else does. So What are you focusing on?
Focusing on what I like, where I want my business to goals, what my short-term goals are, where like quarterly, what am I looking at? At the end of the year, what do I want to do? What does my life look like? What do I want to, like, what is my week? What do I want from personal? Like, why am I doing what I'm doing? It's just, it's like, that's the constant work and constant reminder, because it's just like, let me tell you, there's some days here that I don't want to be here, but you got to show up and move forward, and it doesn't matter what's going on. You just get up and keep doing it.
And that's such a big thing, right? Because often we go through life and we know we want to make money, or we know we want to have a partner, or whatever it is, but I think when you can start to recognize why you want that, right? That yes, you want to make money, but it brings you joy to renovate a house. It brings you joy to sell it, and then it brings you joy to have that money, right? Because money's
Mhm.
energy too, to be able to do the things that you want to do, like take classes, take courses, to try different things, to buy new equipment, right? So it is. Really important to understand what your why is.
Yeah.
And so there's a big question then. What is your why?
What is my why? My why is just I like bettering my community because when I lived in Fort McMurray, I saw what they taught me what community was. So I want to better my community. I want my family to, I want to, I like to help people. So my wife, like, for family, it's really ultimately for family and achieving financial freedom and just helping and assisting others. Like, I
Okay.
just want to make, yeah, I mean,
That's a pretty big reason, right, to help other people. And I know that you do, right? So there's the business aspect of it, but you
yeah.
also help other people just by sharing your wisdom and knowledge. So how has that come about?
It's something that, like, I just kind of, what do you mean come about? So, like, how do I,
Well, so you're stepping more into your ability to help other people, right? To be a way shower, to be a
yeah,
guide for other people. So, obviously you've moved through so many things in your life, but I think people are drawn to you, right? And people come up to you and they share more with you. And
absolutely, naturally happens all the time. I've noticed it, like, for the last 8 years. It's been crazy. Just more and more, and like, just more, like, I talk to people, the more that I recognize that in it, and I really do like help motivating people, and helping people through different times in their life. I mean, it's all relatable. I mean, sometimes we haven't been through it, but just having simple conversation. But I mean, I've been awakening to my power and recognizing it, and just kind of, it just happens for me, like, just at the, like, it just, people do gravitate to me at the right time, or my friends call me at the right time, or I end up calling them at the right time.
Mhm.
It's so weird, but I mean, I catch that and I understand that, and there's a reason why I connect with who I connect with, and I feel the more you recognize that, it becomes more intense, like, more, you become more powerful, because, like, I'm literally stepping into my power, and it feels amazing, and believing that in myself, that I can literally help people by just talking about my story, my journey, which allows everyone to have courage and to do it themselves, and realize that they're not alone, and be able to make a lot of changes in their life that we fear. Like, I mean, I feared a lot of stuff. I mean, I lost my job, but I bought 2 houses, and then I got fired just like a week after. And I'm like, oh shit. I'm like, what am I gonna do here? Right. So it's like, there's a lot of fear, a lot of, just so many negative emotions that hold us back,
Yeah.
and a lot of what ifs. And if we can take the what ifs out and just go for it, and just, it's roll with the punches. Like, that's what it, like, I find, like, I don't know about you, Joanna, but, like, for your journey, but, like, for me, that's what it's been. It's like, I'm gonna do this. Let's just make it work. Let's just make it happen. And there's just, and, a lot of hard days, a lot of, like, moments that are just like, you just want to throw in the towel, but it's like, no, I wouldn't change this for the world. Like,
Well, I think part of that journey, though, is it coming to realize that it's not actually like it's happening, but it's not happening to you, right? It's not actually going
having
to.
for you. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So it's yes, it's affecting your life, but it's still like it still comes down to you are still this, amazing, beautiful soul, and you get fired, and that really sucks, and it's gonna, make you worried and anxious and stuff like that. But knowing that, okay, I will find another job. It may not be exactly what I want or when I want, but trusting that the universe is going to bring you to a place where you can move forward. And I think
Yeah.
that's big.
There's no sense in worrying about it. I mean, that's the, I mean, it's, things happen in life. I mean, definitely, when I mean, it's different when you don't have, like, when you live paycheck to paycheck. That's where I go with that. I mean, like, I lived with paycheck to paycheck and debt and everything. And when you do lose that job, you're kind of taken back and you don't know. There's so many questions and so unknowns, but it's just like literally like saying, this is my chosen path. And this is what I'm supposed to be going through. I'm supposed to be, what is my lesson learned? That's what I mean, through every relationship that doesn't work out, every job that doesn't work out. That's what I instantly go to is just, okay, what am I doing? What am I going to do differently next time? What do I really want? You know, like, what is the universe really telling me? Like, why did this happen? Because everything does happen for a reason, whether we want to believe it or not.
That to go to that place, I love where you go to that place, that it is a lesson, as opposed to so many people look back in hindsight and say, oh my God, I did this wrong, right? I should have, I wasn't a good person, or they judge themselves for it, right? But you don't look back and judge yourself for it. Instead, it's how can I do this, in a better way next time?
Yeah. And be proactive, not reactive.
Right. Yeah. And that's so huge for so many people, right? Because that's what our lives are all about, right? Stress and everything like that. It's because we're reacting as opposed to responding. Mm-hmm. And then coming from that place of truly trusting and knowing that there is more, then you can change your life. And that's where you're at. And that's such a beautiful place. And then the beautiful thing is that now you're stepping in to being that one that people turn to.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely lead the way, I guess, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
It feels awesome, to be honest with you. It's really cool for even just like the responses that I got and get in general. And it's just makes me want to keep doing more and more. It gives me energized. Like there's just so much more do I want to achieve. And just like right now, I'm just starting the journey right now. I'm just getting it going. And it's one small step for mankind, kind of Neil Armstrong little quote there, a little short version, but
yeah. Well, and so where do you want to take this? Is this something that you want to start doing? Like I know on Facebook, and people can find you on Matthew Scott on Facebook, and that you do have short videos there. But if what is your goal from that being that leader, that guide perspective? Like if you could there right now.
Yeah, like I want to do more videos, but I mean, my main goal is to be on stage and like be a motivational speaker one day and just kind of talk about my story and just give more people hope and rise up in a week. With I always first, just with real, there's a different side of the business too, like show some like obviously DIY videos, and I do a lot of behind the scenes stuff. So if anybody wants to watch it, MJS Properties or Matthew Scott on Facebook. But I really just kind of want to show the kind of like the real life of things. Like what, it's just like we only see the good parts in HGTV. They kind of like flip through the house and they got it. And it's all fun and dandy, but I wish it happened like that, a flick of a switch and like genie pops out and away you go. Right. So.
All those days and days in between time with all the crap stuff that happened.
Oh yeah. I just want to.
I think that's
you cut out there.
Yeah. Am I back
Sorry,
again?
you were cutting out there. Yeah, there you go.
Oh. Okay. Now your screen's frozen. Okay. So can you repeat where people can find you again?
MGS Properties on Facebook, or Matthew Scott on Facebook as well. Instagram, LinkedIn. Do a lot of I have a YouTube channel too, MJS Properties as well. There's a lot more content coming out, kind of showing you all the cool stuff a day-to-day flipper does, and I was just start getting into filming more and getting on my own podcast. Joanna and Kim have been helping me out a lot, giving me motivation and steering me in the right direction. Because it has been a sole purpose of mine to be on stage in a podcast and just to reach out to other people and just to kind of just talk real talk, just.
Wonderful. So if anyone is looking for, and it's always amazing, there's lots of, I guess, women talking about energy, but maybe not as men talking about energy, but just not as even so much energy, right? But just that journey of the soul and how to move forward and become that best version of you. Any last words or suggestions? Like if someone really needed someone to talk to, what would you suggest?
You can reach out to me if you like. I have no problem talking. I can talk people's ears off myself, so it's okay. I always like to hear people's stories, and always let they're not alone. There's always someone to call. There's some CMHC programs. I mean, they're okay, but I mean, really, I hope everyone does have like a friend or a family member that they can talk to, like personally, one-on-one, and you get some good insight, or like go for a walk and stuff like that. But always focus on the positives. You're never alone. No one's out there to like hurt anybody. We all have their best intentions. Is we sometimes react off emotion, and if we can, for me, it's just, I think it's just come back to what we focus on. Like if we can focus on the positive and the good in everybody, what we're like. Someone just doesn't know how to explain things properly, they get a little frustrated. So, but I mean, we can't take that personally, and that's what I've kind of learned over the years. And live your dream. On the other side is fear is another path to greatness. Don't be afraid to just dive in there and go for it. There's a lot of what ifs that can hold you back, but only you ultimately are.
Well, that's such a good point to make, right? That fear, for me, fear is a true gift, because it means that that's the direction that I need to head, because we block ourselves and we hold ourselves back and limit ourselves. So when I feel fear, it's like I know I'm on the right track.
Yeah.
That ego trying to control you and keep you smaller, because then you're safe. So on that note, really appreciate you joining me today, Matt. And
thank you, Joanna.
Some of your wisdom. If anyone wants to get in trouble with Matt, just reach out. But this has been Real Talk Soul Alchemy on Speak Up and Empower, an online heart-shaped, heart-focused community of people that want to share their wisdom and knowledge and help you find more in your life. We have conversations that change the way you see the world. Join me again next Thursday at 12:30 for Real Talk Soul Alchemy. I am Joanna Rochester, Soul Alchemist, and this was Real Talk Soul Alchemy on Speak Up and Empower. Have a great day. Thanks, Matt.